Live from Columbia, this is Sports Talk on the South Carolina Radio Network. Be a part of tonight's show. Call us at 800-956-7266 or email talkback@sportstalksc.com. Now, here are your hosts for Sports Talk, Phil Kornbluth, Kevin McCrary, and Tom Hayes.
You know, ever since we got here, we knew AC was the big game pitcher, the guy that we wanted on the mound in the big game. So he's got to top that, but I don't know if that's possible, but AC will give it a good try.
Coach Schloss is a good friend of mine. Been friends with him for a long time, and you know he does one of the best jobs in college baseball. I'm sure they'll be, you know, well schooled for us as well.
Can Coastal Carolina take that next big step toward the College World Series championship series? They can take that big step tonight with a win over TCU in Omaha. That game slated to start around 9 o'clock. The first game of the day is ongoing, and it is right now Texas Tech leading the Florida Gators 2-0. They're in the bottom of the fourth, two-run homer for the Red Raiders. So yesterday we saw Miami sent packing. This is an elimination game. Will Florida follow Miami on the next train out of Omaha, Pro? That would certainly be startling for the College World Series. Number 1 seed going out, number 3 seed went out yesterday. Now, there's still time here for Florida to rally, but my goodness, things are being shaken up tremendously in Omaha so far.
Well, you know, either one of these teams win the game, there'll be another national seed out, either Texas Tech or Florida. And it would be interesting to see that all the Florida teams where they play baseball year-round will be out. ACC out. SEC would be out. The two top conferences by far this year. But as I said before in many of my debates with you, a championship means you crown a champion, not best team. So best team, Florida, may go home early once again.
The Big South just might reign.
Yes.
In college baseball before the end of the day here. Welcome into Sports Talk. Phil Kornbluth, the professor. Tom Hayes, K-Mac is off tonight. We have Carson Mason, also known as Carsonova, back with us after being away at the NSSA Awards banquet last night in Salisbury, North Carolina. 800-956-7266 if you want to jump on the program. Email talkback@sportstalksc.com. On Twitter at SportsTalkSC. Make sure you sign up and become a part of our ever-growing Twitter family, not just coast to coast, but worldwide. Plenty of recruiting coming up. If you haven't been able to check out our recruiting information online, we'll summarize it for you. News on Ortre Smith. Talk about him tonight and others in our recruiting segment coming up. Plus, there's been a good deal of movement in football circles. One of those moves, David Bennett, the coach at River Bluffs, going to coach one more year of high school football and then move into the AD's office at Lexington District 1 and oversee that big operation. He'll join us tonight a little bit after 7 o'clock to talk about that. And, of course, he has ties to Coastal Carolina as well. Get his thoughts on how the Shots are doing out there in Omaha. So we got David Bennett coming your way tonight here on Sports Talk. Time for your phone calls as well. What do you think of Coastal's chances tonight against TCU? Talk some recruiting as well. Ready to crank up some football talk too here on Sports Talk. We'll be right back. Talk here on a Tuesday night from downtown Columbia. Good to have you with us. Hope you had a wonderful day. Thank you for joining us here on Sports Talk. Take us all the way home with you on your ride home, where you are stuck in traffic, no doubt, here in Columbia heading home. Certainly in Charleston is moving very slowly. I'll give you the traffic report around the state. Traffic on 526 in Charleston, bumper to bumper, moving very slowly. Up on 85 at 385, where they've got construction going on, coming off the north ramp off 85 onto 385. Major backups there, I'm sure, because of that construction. You're going to be stuck there for a while. Be patient. Malfunction Junction in Columbia, you're backed up there. You're not going anywhere anytime soon. Traffic is moving well in Latta this afternoon. No problems getting through the Cross Latta Expressway. So you'll have no delays getting from one side of town to the other. Travel time from one end of Latta to the other today, about 30 seconds. No problem. How about Oler? How long did it take you to get through Oler this afternoon?
It depends. You might run into a cow coming across the road.
Well, that would slow you down. That would slow you down.
No, but the thing is, I'm part of my late Uncle Richard is with me. Uncle Richard was in the Army, and he drove a 2-seater Thunderbird Roadster in Texas. And every time we ask him, even when he got 80 years old, he says, "It's bad rain out there, Uncle Richard. That you doing okay?" I was throwing water in other people's faces. They're not throwing water in my face, meaning that if anybody's slow, look out, because I'm blowing by him.
Heard that. 800-956-7266. I mentioned the traffic to remind you, once you get home, take us in with you here on Sports Talk. Don't leave us to ourselves in the car. Take us in on your radio, on your smartphone, on your laptop, however you can get us. Make sure you stay with us and keep that station plugged in on your radio to that Sports Talk affiliate. When you get in the car tomorrow, you'll be able to listen to them heading to work or wherever you're off to. So no reason to change that channel. 800-956-7266, the number. Email talkback at sportstalksc.com, on Twitter at sportstalksc. The webpage, the Sports Talk webpage, sportstalksc.com, and on Facebook, it is Sports Talk Radio Network. Wondering where your USC assistant football coaches are this week? They have been tweeting out from a variety of different spots as they've gone on vacation. Bobby Bentley's out fishing somewhere, apparently caught a big fish that he was showing off to people on Twitter. Lance Thompson's in Italy celebrating his anniversary with his wife. Congratulations to them. Hope everything is going well for you there. Let's see. Who else? Sean Elliott is at the beach, relaxing, getting away from football for a little bit. So if you're just wondering where your Gamecock coaches are, don't know where Muschamp is. I'm sure he's on vacation somewhere, or perhaps he's camped out at the house on the lake out there. That's kind of like being on vacation. Being at that big old monstrosity out on Lake Murray. And,
he's in the panic room in there.
Yeah, possibly so. Possibly so. Hey, I see a Steve Spurrier tweet went out today.
Uh-oh.
At Coach Steve Spurrier, congrats Dustin on bringing home a major championship. Steve Spurrier, good to hear from him. Let's see. He still has 70,000 followers. Tweet-wise, he doesn't do a whole lot of tweeting that we know of. His previous tweet to this one, he actually retweeted Florida advancing to the College World Series. His previous tweet was related to Jeremy Foley's announcement that he's retiring. That was back on June 13th. Mm-hmm. 27 national titles in 25 years. He'll go down as the greatest AD in UF history. That was the tweet. And then before that, he tweeted thanks for having the football field at Florida named for him. That's just good to see that Coach Spurrier is still active on Twitter. We've got a full rundown in recruiting coming your way. Lots of news recruiting-wise. We'll get to that. Some players moving closer to decisions. Some players moving closer to giving us a short list. We'll fill you in on all that stuff coming up as well. It's been a very busy month here in June in recruiting. We'll talk more about that. Share your thoughts on the recruiting season with us. 800-956-7266 is the number. South Carolina right now, recruiting-wise, with 17 commitments in their class, and they've had a pretty good run of things the last couple of weeks with their camps and getting some commitments in place. Now, the key is, of course, holding on to these commitments and making sure everybody stays in place. As I look at their list, I think these commitments are all pretty solid. One I would be keeping a close eye on is Sean Smith, the receiver from Brunswick, Georgia, because I think Georgia's still going to make a strong push for him. But, I mean, you never know individually. It certainly looks like these players, especially the ones in state, are really solid with their commitments. They are addressing their needs, as you want to do in every class. They've got 3 defensive backs right now. They've got 3 defensive ends. They've got 3 linebackers. So a little over half the class is on the defensive side. They've got 3 offensive linemen, a quarterback, a running back, a tight end, and 2 wide receivers. I really like the wide receivers in Smith and Smith, Sean and Shy. Good-looking receivers. Will Register is one of the best tight ends around. Good-looking player there. The running back, Keyshawn Bryan, comes highly regarded. Jay Urich at Wren, not that heavily recruited, but seems to be an up-and-comer with a chance, with his skills and his size, a chance to be developed. The offensive lineman, Eric Douglas, big time out of Charlotte, and Dennis Daly, a really good player, Shrine Bowler, who's at the Georgia military now. He'll have a couple of years of JUCO experience behind him. Sumi Carley, good, solid player, not heavily recruited, but good, solid player with a chance to develop. So I see some things to like on the offensive side. Defensively, you're looking at a guy like Damani Staley at linebacker from Ridgeview, who had a heck of a year last year and made a lot of sacks. Devon Bowen and Eldridge Thompson look good on paper. Thompson, really, I think as a junior college linebacker, had an excellent year last year and is pretty highly regarded. Bowen, not so heavily recruited, a guy that USC will take and try and develop. Tyreek Johnson, his coach loves him, thinks he's a tremendous pass rusher off at defensive end. Same thing. You got to love the size on Devontae Wyatt at 6'4", 300 pounds. Javon Kinlaw, he certainly looks the part and is playing well at Jones Junior College. Had a good spring, 6'7", 265. So, they're getting they're getting back to those large, tall defensive ends that worked so well for South Carolina during the run under Steve Spurrier of 11 wins in a row for 3 years. You looked at those defensive ends, tall, long wingspans. They're getting some of those types back. The defensive backs, Jackson, Mathis, and Davenport all had some other good offers and have good size. So, it's a class that looks pretty solid to me. Is it? For the people who get hung up on the star rating system, it's not going to be full of those kind of players. But I think you have a good nucleus here, and I think you have a solid base of in-state players which can carry you a long way.
Well, the key point that people have to realize is if you've got a coaching staff who looks at a player and they fit what they want to do schematically, that's all you need. I don't care what kind of stars you're talking about. 3 cases in point. Bad. I'll get the bad case out of the point, but that was off the field stuff. When you look at teams like Boise State, Baylor, TCU, I didn't see many or any top 10 classes. But what those coaches did at those 3 schools to build them into powers is they found guys who fit their system, that had the talent, that they needed for certain positions, and they built a strong football team that way. And I think that's what Muschamp wants to start out to do. But I think the key point he's doing right now is he wants to put his tentacles all over the state of South Carolina early in his tenure. And then when the talent builds in the state, guys will be looking at the state university because he's giving guys in state a chance to play.
Well, that's what his hope is. And, he's trying to backdoor Clemson here a little bit too, because the Tigers have put most of their focus on out-of-state talent, passing on many of the players in state, and South Carolina's trying to take advantage of that. We'll talk about the Clemson class in just a moment. SBR Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network from downtown Columbia. Phil Kornblut, the professor, Tom Hayes. Clemson's class of 10 right now, and suffice it to say, every one of them except one heavily recruited with multiple major offers. The only one not, Balin Spector, linebacker, Calhoun, Georgia, who is following in the footsteps of his dad who played at Clemson. He may turn out to be the best linebacker that they bring in. Who knows? But you look at their list and you start with their quarterbacks, Hunter Johnson, Chase Bryce. I mean, what can you say? Both elite 11 quarterbacks. Both have had excellent summers throwing the football. And the battle moving forward, the quarterback situation at Clemson is now going to become very interesting after Deshaun Watson leaves following this season. Kelly Bryant could be the guy, but maybe not be the guy. He's a tremendous athlete, maybe not a great quarterback. The player coming in, Cooper, is a very highly regarded quarterback coming out of high school, and could be the guy that steps up and becomes the number 2 guy or very close to that in the competition. But then after Deshaun's gone, you're going to have Cooper, you're going to have Hunter Johnson and Chase Bryce. Those three, and all three are used to playing, and all three are used to being the man. And, as great as a place Clemson is and as great as you love it, somebody's going to sit on the bench. Somebody's going to carry the clipboard. What I'm saying is trying to keep those three happy is going to be a challenge, I would think, for the coaching staff.
Boy, it's tough because you almost want to stagger those guys.
Well, I'm sure there's going to be some redshirting involved. Yeah,
but still, there's only 1 year in between, as opposed to 2 years. It's almost like you want that to happen. But
well, I mean, if you're Clemson, and you're a Clemson fan, you want one quarterback to step in after Watson and be the guy and be great, which means 2 others are going to have to sit. Which my point is, I can't see these 3 staying in the program.
No, not all 3.
2-3 years down the road, unless they just love it so much they don't want to go. But I think that they want to play, just like Tucker Israel. I'm surprised he hasn't left yet. I mean, he's never going to play at Clemson, despite all the records he had throwing the football in the state of Florida. Anyway, you look at these other guys, Cordarian Richardson, tremendous running back prospect out of Memphis, Amari Rogers, excellent receiver prospect out of Knoxville. Offensive linemen all look solid. DeHaan, Bockhurst, and Vincent. I mean, you start them off with the great size. They're all 6'5" or taller. They're all 285 or bigger. Great bodies to build on. Logan Rudolph from Northwestern, one of the top players in the state, defensive end, and Lee Anthony Williams, a highly regarded defensive back from Roswell, Georgia. So, Clemson is doing its thing, and what they're doing is what you should do when you make it to the national championship game. You should benefit in recruiting. You look at South Carolina, and the previous staff failed to build on the 3 years of success after that third year. They did not get the benefit of that third year of success in the next class, and it came back to really hurt them, especially the quarterback position. Back after this. All right, 2-0. Texas Tech continues to lead Florida. Bottom of the sixth, Florida's the home team. They do have a couple of guys on, nobody out, so they're trying to get back in this thing and stave off elimination, trying to not to become the second team from the Sunshine State to be sent packing from Omaha. 2-0. Texas Tech 2-4-1 for Texas Tech, 0-3-0 for Florida. And they do have Buddy Reed coming up, so you kind of like having him there with runners on base. Davis Martin is pitching for Texas Tech. Through 5, he's allowed 3 hits. He struck out 3. He's walked 2. He's thrown 63 pitches. This is a guy who came in with a 9-1 record and 2 saves, so he's a very good pitcher coming in.
Remember, after the first few games, all the national seeds are all in the losers bracket.
It's just been a crazy tournament. You know, the road teams winning, and the lesser seeds winning. Oklahoma State was phenomenal again last night. I'm telling you, that team
1-0.
You know,
looks like it's got
the first game I saw against Clemson. I said to myself, this team is solid, and Clemson's going to have a hard time beating them. When they won that regional to set up coming to Columbia, I thought to myself, there's a very good chance Cowboys are going to beat South Carolina, because they're just solid. They're not flashy, you know. They don't do anything that really raises your eyebrows except play very solid, fundamental, all-around baseball. And so they win again, 1-0. They've allowed no runs in the World Series. They've won 2 1-0 games. First time that's happened in World Series history. And what did we decipher last night? How many runs have they given up in the NCAA tournament? They shut out Nebraska. They allowed 2 and 2 to Clemson. That's 4.
I think it's 7. That's all they've given.
And 3 in Columbia. So that's 7 runs. That's unbelievable. That's great playing.
There is the interesting thing we can talk about, and I really do hate that Lancaster is out of this College World Series, the second baseman for Coastal, because here's the interesting thing. If you look at it from the opposite direction, Phil, for the most part, Coastal Carolina has been a consistent hitting team all year.
Power.
And Oklahoma State, while they're holding people down, they haven't scored that much either. So suppose Coastal gets in there with Oklahoma State, I'd give them a chance. But Lancaster, I'd just love to have had him in. He was so hot at the plate as a setup guy, getting hits. I think he batted like 444 in the last 10 games for Coastal, and they don't have that bat in the line.
Well, having Chadwick back now is helping, putting him at second base, because he was a good player before he got hurt in the regional at Raleigh. That was the play earlier. There was a great play made early in the game by the Texas Tech center fielder where he hit the wall very hard after making a backhanded running catch. It was a beautiful, beautiful play. Gators with the bases loaded, 1 out. And so a chance for the Gators here in the bottom of the 6th to turn this thing around, trailing 2-0 against Texas Tech. They intentionally walked the batter to load the bases, set up the double play at every base. That's good strategy, but it does put the pressure on your pitcher. You can't afford a ball in the dirt. It sort of eliminates that ball in the dirt because you're scared of the wild pitch, your pass ball, things like that. But it doesn't seem to be affecting him. He's thrown 2 balls in the dirt outside. So now TCU coming up against Coastal. Coastal at 50-16, and TCU 48-16. They won 15 games in the Big 12. This is a program that has been a regular in the College World Series this decade, 2010, 2014, 2015, and 2016. So their 3rd straight year in the College World Series. They've got a lot of experience, obviously, in Omaha. This will be the 2nd meeting ever between TCU and Coastal. Coastal won that first meeting in 2007 in Myrtle Beach. 11-6. That was at the Baseball at the Beach tournament. Tonight, it'll be Brian Howard going to the mound for TCU. He's a right-hander, 9-2, 3.29 ERA, 86 strikeouts in 93 innings, including 17 strikeouts in his last 2 starts. He's only walked 27 in 93 innings. This is a very solid baseball team as well. They have some good bats up and down the lineup. Their DH, Lucan Baker, is a freshman. He's batting .380. This is beer-like. You know, you talk about freshmen with outstanding numbers. Lucan Baker, .380 batting average, 10 home runs, 60 RBIs. So he leads them. Their third baseman, Elliot Barzilli, .347 with 7 homers, 47 RBIs. Their first baseman, Michael Landestory, .311 with 1 homer. So, you know, they got some bats up and down the lineup, but it's that pitching. That pitching's been very good for TCU. Their most recent games after losing to Texas A&M in the Super Regional 7-1, they came back to win 4-1 to advance, and they beat Virginia Tech 5-3. Their pitching has been outstanding. They have not given up more than 3 runs in a game, except for that one loss to Texas A&M. That's the only game they've given up more than 3 runs in since going back to the Big 12 tournament. So their pitching has really settled in as well. Alex Cunningham will go tonight for the Chanticleers. He's a guy that has plenty of experience as a big game pitcher out of Burns High School. He has been one of the top guys on their staff all season long. They'll turn to him and give him the baseball tonight, knowing they have a fully rested staff after getting the complete game from Beckwith the other night. Going into tonight's game, Cunningham, 9-3 with a 3.58 ERA. This will be his 16th start. He's got 1 complete game. Teams are batting .254 against him. So that is your matchup tonight. But the good news, too, behind Cunningham is that Gilmore, knowing that if they win, they don't play again till Friday. Mm-hmm. So you got Wednesday and Thursday to rest those arms. So you got Bobby Holmes ready to come out of the bullpen. You got Mike Morrison ready to come out of the bullpen if needed, and on down the line for Coastal Carolina.
Well, a team that has the entire rest of the year to rest may be Florida.
Did they just blow it?
Bases loaded.
Didn't I see the ball get past the first baseman?
Ball right back to the pitcher, to the catcher, throw to first base, glances off the runner, umpire points. And when he pointed, I knew what he was going to do. He ran out of the baseline, automatic out, inning over.
Okay, wait a second. So I didn't see the play. Mm-hmm. Let's redo this. Bases loaded, comebacker. Throw to home, got the runner there. Throw to first, hit the runner in the back, out.
Out because he was inside the baseline.
Mm-hmm. Well, there you go, Florida. Kind of reminds you what the Gamecocks did to you a few years ago, huh? A little bit different.
Throwing guys out at the plate is something else. And having a catcher backhand a ball with a catcher's mitt.
You know, what are people going to start saying about Sully here if he fails to win the championship? I mean, he's not in Mike Martin's range in terms of College World Series failure yet, but he's getting close. He's getting close, and that reminds me of he's running inside the baseline, no doubt about it. You know, I mean, why can't you? I guess maybe you're not thinking. You're taught all year throughout your whole baseball career, run to that line on the outside. You know, that protects you no matter what happens. If you're running to that line to the outside of the baseline, you're going to be fine. But going back to that play in the championship series against the Gamecocks, that double play that South Carolina turned, was seeing that in person was just, it was incredible. I mean, infield drawn in. Keep in mind now, infield drawn in, fastest player, Pickett, fastest player on Florida's team at the plate, and he hits a tough shot to Wingo, who's got to make a play. I think he went to his knees to make it.
To make sure, yeah.
I think. Then you got to fire home, and the catcher, Robert Beery, makes a backhanded stab and gets the runner at the plate. And then I think he threw the first and got the double play, didn't he?
The key to Wingo, no, I think that was one out.
Was it just one out? Okay.
Yeah. I think the key to Wingo was the fact that he knew the ball was hit so hard he had plenty of time.
Yeah.
I mean, that thing was hit like a bullet, and he said, okay, And then he
fantastic
relaxed.
play. And then they got out of it and went on to win. All right, top of the seventh, still 2-0. Texas Tech leading Florida. Gators blew a golden opportunity to break through a little bit, and now Texas Tech's got a little something brewing in the top of the seventh. Runners on first and second with 1 out.
See, you think this is what happens to you. Your guy hits a bullet back to the pitcher with the bases loaded. This guy hits a bleeder and it gets through.
You know why? Because it's baseball.
Yes.
To recruiting, we got a lot of recruiting to tell you about here. First of all, offensive lineman T.J. Moore from Charlotte has USC and Tennessee as his top schools. And what's today? Tomorrow night or Thursday afternoon, he might commit. However, if Alabama offers by Wednesday, that changes the plan. He went to Alabama summer camp. He sat down with Nick Saban, talked to him for like 20 minutes, had a good conversation. Saban told him they'd let him know something this week. But he said, I feel like if they wanted me, they would have offered me on the spot. But he said they didn't offer a lot of people that day. So he's kind of waiting to see what happens there. And if he gets that offer, then he'll delay his decision until another date. If he doesn't, then he plans to move forward with the Gamecocks or the Vols. He says even right now, he talked to Sean Elliott at USC Monday. He's at the beach. They had a good conversation. He was going to check in with Tennessee today just to see how things stood with them. Likes both schools. Gamecocks already have a commitment from his teammate, offensive lineman Eric Douglas. Or Trey Smith, wide receiver from Wando. He was at Clemson for the visit with his mom on Friday, and he may have at some point in time prior to the visit slipped down the Clemson recruiting board a little bit, but the Tigers certainly made him and his mom know how much he was wanted. They were there for 8 hours on Friday, and that was the Clemson stop was the second for Smith on what is a critical tour he's considering, actually the third, because he went to Georgia and USC previously. So I can't count. It's actually the third visit for him. Mm-hmm. Then he went on to North Carolina for the fourth visit. He went there on Saturday with his godmother. Anyway, he said, I'm talking with his mother, who is keeping us, she's really protecting him from the media and filling us in, keeping us abreast of what's going on, Tasha Green. And she said that they met with Dabo Swinney, Jeff Scott, Tony Elliott, and they made the picture clear for them. And, of course, the most important thing to her is the academic side of things. And they sat down, talked about different majors and the type of support they give the athletes at Clemson. She's a former Clemson volleyball player. She said they talked with Swinney for about an hour and 15 minutes. And he talked about where they were when they started in recruiting and where they are now. She said that everyone knows, and these are her words, everyone knows that we felt that Clemson had kind of slacked off on Ortre for a good bit, and they were able to explain things and also be more apologetic about what happened because they know there was a lack of communication at some point. Continuing with what she said, I'll say that they made up for it because they were very thorough about what they wanted, where they wanted him, and his purpose. It was just interesting to hear it come from Dabo saying exactly why Ortre is priority, why he is important to Clemson. Just put everything on the table. And so she said her son's okay with the explanation, felt good about it, and Clemson is, very much involved. And they also want to be sure that they're being recruited 100% as a wide receiver. None of this tight end stuff. They want to make sure he's going to be recruited as a wide receiver, and that's what everybody is telling them. And she is holding these coaches' feet to the fire. They better not lie to Miss Green and mislead her because she's not going to stand for it. They had a good visit at North Carolina as well, and the Tar Heels want him as a receiver. He'll take a visit to Notre Dame in July. Wednesday, tomorrow, he's going to release his short list of top schools, but no favorite. The plan is to announce on his birthday, September 11th. Some other offers are Louisville, Florida State, Wake Forest, Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech, NC State, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, and West Virginia. Ms. Green said he likes something different about every school. He likes all the coaches. It's going to be a gut feeling, he said that he's told the coaches. And he's doing a lot of praying about it and things of that nature. And she said that as the process is wearing down, Ms. Green said she and her son will be acutely aware of what's going on at the schools related to receiver commits and the continued interest in him, saying, quote, we're definitely going to see who wants him more, end of quote. So that's the story on Ortre Smith. I think USC, Clemson are definitely the top two to watch here. Notre Dame could be a wild card in this thing. You know how Notre Dame can open up a lot of eyes and give you a lot to think about when you're that level of player. But I think it's incumbent upon South Carolina and or Clemson. Well, really, or no and. Only one can get him. It's incumbent upon them to keep him in the state. You don't want that kind of talent to leave the state. We've got more recruiting coming up here for you on Sports Talk after the break. Still 2-0 Texas Tech over Florida. Bottom of the 7th, 2 outs. Gators running out of outs in Omaha. Back to recruiting. We have not run out of recruiting just yet. Talked to Tansy Richardson last night about his situation with South Carolina. And, you feel bad for the kid. Kid thought he had an opportunity to commit to South Carolina at this point in time. Obviously, he did not. Muschamp never acknowledged his public announcement that he was committing to USC. So what he has done is sort of taken a step back and is going to wait and see what happens. He talked to Travaris Robinson about what went down on Sunday night and where things are right now, and he was told that it can't be taken right now. He said he didn't know if they had a legitimate spot with all the commits they've got right now. So he told him he was going to wait it out, and he's going to wait and see who they sign. And instead of making a decision now, they wanted him to shut down his recruiting and commit earlier, but he decided to wait. So, that's on his shoulders. But then again, I do think that it's the responsibility of the recruiters when they've offered multiple players at a position and that position fills up with commitments to notify those guys, hey, sorry, we can't take you. You might want to consider other schools now. Let them know so they don't do something foolish like publicly announce a commitment that's not going to be taken. Let the guys know that we've had to move on to other people. He had made his decision to go with USC over Colorado State. Kent State offered him on Monday. He also has offers from Southern Miss, Mississippi State, Coastal, and Charleston Southern. He confirmed his desire is to go to USC. That'll be his plan if USC comes back to him with the acceptance of the commitment. Defensive linemen Brayon and Brandon Gaddy of Virginia Beach scratched their visits to Tennessee Saturday, Clemson Monday out of family considerations. The Vols and Tigers are the top 2 for each. They plan to go to the same place. Brayon said they're looking at rescheduling for the Clemson All-In Cookout in July. They're going to go to West Virginia for a camp on Thursday. USC target defensive end DeAndre Johnson of Miami is going to drop a top 5. July 25th, put that on your calendar, Pro, so you don't miss that. Some of his other offers are Auburn, West Virginia, NC State, Maryland, Tennessee. Running back Jalen Holston of Stockbridge, Georgia, plans to visit USC again July 22nd. He has USC, Duke, and Virginia Tech as his top three. Linebacker T.J. Menifee of Lebanon, Tennessee, plans a visit to USC the week of July 18th. He was offered by the Gamecocks at a satellite camp in Nashville earlier this month. He just camped at Vanderbilt and plans to visit Clemson, Tennessee, and Duke. His coach has been talking to Clemson's Brent Venables, so he said he'll go down there for a visit. No talk of an offer yet. Linebacker Colin Anderson of Killen, Alabama, remains in touch with USC, trying to work out a date for a visit. Defensive end Malik Herring of Forsyth, Georgia, has a top 7 of Clemson, Alabama, Southern Cal, Middle Tennessee, Georgia, Tennessee, and LSU. Defensive end Zachary Carter of Tampa plans to announce soon Clemson, Tennessee, Florida, and USC, Southern Cal, in his top 4. Got a few more notes, including a basketball note. We'll give you that after the top of the hour break.
Live from Columbia, this is Sports Talk on the South Carolina Radio Network. Be a part of tonight's show. Call us at 800-956-7266 or email talkback@sportstalksc.com. Now, here are your hosts for Sports Talk, Phil Kornbluth, Kevin McCrary, and Tom Hayes.
Back we are, Sports Talk, South Carolina Radio Network, still 2-0 Texas Tech. Top of the 8th inning. 2 outs, so it's getting late early out there in Omaha for the Florida Gators. They trail 2-0. Texas Tech does have a runner on first base. Let me wrap up the lengthy but juicy recruiting report for tonight. Athletes, Devin Hunter, Chesapeake, Virginia. He's got his favorites list coming soon, he says. He has a Clemson and a USC offer, among many others. Northwestern running back Jerry Howard Jr. committed to East Carolina today. Running back Anthony McFarland Jr., Hyattsville, Maryland, released his top 10. USC is on the list. The others are Texas A&M, Notre Dame, Tennessee, Alabama, Miami, Michigan, Ohio State, Florida, and Maryland. So if you're South Carolina and you win that recruiting battle, you've done a heck of a job.
Michigan.
Apparently a really good player. Basketball, 6'10", Justin Hamilton of Charlotte was at USC today for a visit, according to Phenon Hoop Report. He has offers from the College of Charleston, East Carolina, Charlotte, and some others. That's all I've got. You got any recruiting news, Pro?
No.
When was the last time you made a recruiting call?
It'll be the first time.
Never made in your entire professional broadcasting career?
No.
Never made a recruiting call. Even when you were at Channel 7 and in Spartanburg?
I was in sports. I was in news.
Okay. Let me pass along a couple of other notes here. John Smith, the longtime basketball coach at Great Falls, the winningest basketball coach in state history, is retiring.
Oh, no.
After 47 years, 929 games, 8 1A state championships.
8.
Jimmy Duncan will become the new basketball coach and the school's new athletic director. This, according to the, I think it's in the Rock Hill Herald.
Better get you some info.
Coach Smith has been at the team scrimmages this summer. He plans to continue driving the team's bus as he has for many years. So he'll drive the bus. He's just not going to coach them.
He'll sit on the bus and drive, and then when the game is going on, he'll backseat drive from the stands. Yeah, I would. What was the new coach's name?
Jimmy Duncan.
Jimmy, get you some insoles because you got some big shoes to fill.
18 state finals they played in.
Unbelievable.
Let's see here. I saw his record. His team at one point won 55 straight games, 3 consecutive state championships. Always played like 10 players a game, never built around one guy. I was looking for his – he won 929 games. There you go. He won 929 games, 8 1A state championships. So he takes his seat alongside John McKissick, winningest football coach in the world, obviously in South Carolina, winningest basketball coach in South Carolina now, hanging up the whistle. Congratulations to Coach John Smith. What a career. Speaking of great coaches, David Bennett coming up next. Okay, we're back. Sports Talk South Carolina Radio Network. Coach David Bennett coming up in a moment. Be sure to score big with Founders Federal Credit Union. Founders has convenient office locations at USC and a new location coming soon to Clemson, plus ATMs at Clemson, Converse, Limestone, USC, PC, USC Lancaster, Winthrop, York Tech. Visit foundersfcu.com for a full listing to find an ATM or office near you. Not a member? Visit Relax. Join Founders.com to see if you qualify for membership. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA. Bottom 8, 1 out. Texas Tech 2-0. So Florida down to its last 5 outs.
17 and a third innings. Florida has scored 1 run in the College World Series.
Hard to fathom. Welcoming into Sports Talk now, good buddy, David Bennett, football coach over at River Bluff, but he has announced that this will be it for coaching football for him after this season, as he's going to move over into the administrative side of things full-time, becoming the athletic director at Lexington School District 1, which is a big job in and of itself. How are you, sir?
Doing good. How are y'all doing?
We're doing fine. When did
Glad you upgraded your music.
You like it, huh?
Yeah, it sounded pretty good.
Yeah. Well, we try to stay on the cutting edge here. All right. So when did this all start to move in this direction as far as giving up football and becoming the full-time athletic director?
Well, they had the position, and I went and interviewed with them. Told them that if they wanted me to be in that office, I was not the guy that they needed, but if they had the vision that I'd prayed about and been given to be in the schools, meeting with coaches, meeting with teams, taking student athletes from the high school into the middle school, into the elementary schools, doing programs, talking to the kids about attitude, respect, sportsmanship, their study habits, setting goals for themselves. I said, then I'd be very interested in it. And when they called and offered it, they said, that's the exact vision that we want. And so as you get older, not that I'm that old, Phil, I think I'm still younger than you. I'm only 54. You realize that, do you want to be successful or do you want to be significant? And successful to me is winning rings, going in Hall of Fames. But at the end of the day, the significance of being in athletics is how many lives do you get to touch? How many kids do you get to have a relationship with? What are we going to teach these kids to help carry them for the rest of their life to be great husbands and wives and mothers and fathers? And so now the territory's just been increased, and we get to work with 25,000 kids in this district.
Wow. That might be the deepest thing I've ever heard you say.
Well, you get older and wiser as you get older, Phil.
Does this mean now you become a coat and tie guy?
Negative.
Okay.
I think you got to put a coat and tie on when you have to, but I want to create a logo with our 5 high schools and be in all of them. And I look forward to going out to Gilbert and Pillion. I'm kind of from the country, being from Cheraw. And so I'm going to enjoy and embrace that what can I do to help, coaches. And again, I think there'll be about 800 coaches, at all our high schools and middle schools, PE teachers in the elementary schools. So I'm going to enjoy doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And, been thinking about it, praying about it for a good while. And I think it's exactly what we're supposed to do.
Talking with David Bennett. So you think it'll be easy for you to hang up the whistle after this football season and walk away from the game that you've played and coached and loved for all these years?
Yeah, because you get older and realize it's not about you. It's about those kids. And so I'll get a chance to be a part of, instead of River Bluff with 700 student athletes, now 5 high schools and 7 middle schools, and going into these 17 elementary schools. And just like we told our kids at River Bluff, there's a real good rise in 8th and 9th grade class. And I said, hey, we're still going to be here to help you and reach out to some colleges for you. But I said, we can't get you scholarships. You earn those with what you do on the field, what you do in the classroom, and the type of person that you are. So it'll be fun working with all the kids of the district.
Mm-hmm. Now, what besides that, in your new role when you get to it, what other things will you be in charge of for the individual programs? I mean, will you be hiring and firing coaches, scheduling, things of that nature, or is that left up
We
to the
don't
individual
fire
school?
many, but we'll assist with some fundraising, with budgets, with people don't even think about this. Our school district is unbelievable with academics, Phil, and the arts, and we've got some great athletes, but we got to keep working to improve our supplements for our teacher coaches and get that to where some of the top districts are in the state.
Do you think this will also allow you to have a greater voice statewide on policy as it relates to high school athletics and things with the high school league?
I don't think it'll hurt. I'll be representing our district rather than just, one high school.
Mm-hmm. Is that something you've always aspired to do once you move to the high school ranks?
Well, again, you go through a little, kind of deal like we had, I guess, and then you realize it's way bigger than you are. And, it's realizing that your wins and, selfishly you say, yeah, I'd like to win 200 games as a football coach with people about, 600 in basketball, baseball, or soccer or another sport. But you realize it's not about that. And you get around these young kids, and like we take our student athletes in these elementary schools, and it's just amazing to see their faces when those kids come in, and to get to be a part of that and help lead that, and lead kids and lead coaches, to me is a way bigger job than being at one school.
Talking with David Bennett, who is going to begin his new job on July 1 as the AD for Lexington 1 and stay on as the coach at River Bluff for another year. What kind of shape district-wide are those athletic programs that you will be overseeing at this point?
I think they're in real good shape. We've got some great leaders, and again, what can we do to get the budgets up? What can we do to get the supplements up? We're going to look next week at facilities, seeing what needs to be done. So men's sports and women's sports are both equally provided for. So I'm here to help. That's all I want to do is be a helper.
Yeah. And you approach this as sort of treating all the schools on an equal basis, despite the, one being so large, and then, going on down the list of the smaller schools, they all get even-handed treatment from your position?
I think so. I think you want to look at what each of them need.
Mm-hmm. What about your replacement after you step aside at River Bluff? How will that be handled?
They'll open it up in December, January, and Dr. Clamp said they're going to get it down to about 10 candidates, bring them in, and then he said, when we get down to the top 2 or 3 or 4, Coach, we might need your help. And I said, whatever you need.
Do you want to have some input on who your replacement will be?
If they need it, and be glad to do it, because we need somebody special that loves the kids of all sports, not just football. Somebody that's a football coach, but embraces being an AD and embraces all the kids.
Mm-hmm. Does our buddy Gary Smallin have a shot at it?
Gary Smallin is going to be the interim AD at River Bluff. He's already had 2 staff meetings with assistant ADs. And I told him our motto was, it's not about I and me, it's about us and we. Mm-hmm. Hammer don't change it from it's not about us and we.
Yeah.
It's back to I and me.
Yeah.
But, Gary's a veteran. He's 44-year veteran, unbelievable guy. Coach. He coaches our 9th grade football team. He is a special leader.
Ain't no doubt. He'd do a great job. Hang on if you would. You got a couple more minutes?
10-4.
All right. Talking with David Bennett, who is taking a different direction in his professional career after this football season. One more year as coach at River Bluff, and then he'll be the full-time athletic director for Lexington District 1. As he said, it's a huge job with thousands and thousands of students. More with him coming up in a moment. Okay, we're back. Sports Talk brought to you by South Carolina soybean farmers and their checkoff. Learn more at scsoybeans.org. Pork, powered by soy, 2-0, top of the ninth. Top of the ninth, Texas Tech, 1 out, runner on first base. So Florida's got 3 more outs to go. Back to David Bennett for a couple more minutes. John Smith at Great Falls, the great basketball coach with over 900 wins, announced his retirement. But he's still going to drive the bus that takes the team to games. So what do you think about that?
They better check his eyes. He's a great guy. He's been there a long time. Yeah, he might be better off sitting on that bus, let somebody else drive it, and him giving advice on the bench.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I mean, he still wants to be a part of the team. He'll probably, wash the uniforms and all that kind of stuff he's been doing.
That's the kind of selfless leadership we need more of.
Yeah. No doubt. No. You don't replace people like John Smith, John McKissick, guys like that. Last thing, you watching the College World Series, I'm sure. I know you got to be very proud for Coastal Carolina, and you know that your days back when that athletic program was starting to grow, and football probably had as much to do with the overall growth of the program in the last 10, 15 years, and you started it. What are your thoughts for Gary Gilmore and that team and what they're doing?
Love Gary. He's a special guy, and we've been texting all the way through, the season and the regional, and stay in touch. And I just couldn't be happier for him. Those kids on the team. One of the kids, G.K. Young, played. Our boy played All-Stars with him in Conway. Mm-hmm. And the coaches on there, Drew and Schnall, and just the community, the whole PD and Conway and the Myrtle Beach area. Very happy for them because Gary's been working hard for a long time to try to get there, and turned down going to Auburn back in around 2010 or so. So we're very happy for him. I'd love to see him win tonight, beat TCU, and I just think it's great.
Yeah, I mean, when you see Coastal Carolina on the billboards on ESPN and the publicity, I mean, it's really, you got to kind of shake your head and go, wow, I can't believe they've gotten to this point this way.
Well, they've been working to get there, and they were close the year that South Carolina beat Coastal at Super Regional.
Yeah.
And Coastal barely beat College of Charleston. South Carolina barely beat Coastal. South Carolina won their first World Series. So, you just never know. But Coastal's growing and getting bigger. And I got a call today from a guy from E60 that's coming in July doing a E60 special on Josh Norman. So it's great to see, good things happen to another state school here that we got to be a part of it in the beginning.
Josh Norman, that's a whole nother story, isn't it?
He's a mess now. People don't know him, though. He's got a huge heart.
Yeah.
He loves people. He just played with a big chip on his shoulder this year, and he had something to prove.
I think the Panthers are going to miss him.
Sure they will.
Yeah. Well, listen, we thank you for joining us. Congratulations on the next move in your career. Best of luck. We'll keep in touch. Have a great summer.
Thank you, Phil. Hey, to your whole team. Appreciate all y'all do.
Thank you, Coach. Good talking to you. David Bennett.
I have to go to the kitchen to get the fork. And just trying to check and see if Florida's just about done.
3-0. 3-0.
Yep.
Had to go back before we did that interview. We had to go back and look at the cats and dogs video of David Bennett this afternoon.
You listening to that.
Just to get a chuckle. Back in a moment. Thanks again to David Bennett for joining us here tonight on Sports Talk. Always good to hear from the coach. Good luck to him moving forward with his endeavors. Top of the ninth, it's 3-0 Texas Tech over Florida. 2 outs. Runners on second and third. The Gators just throwing the ball all around the infield a little while ago, committing 2 errors in the inning, allowing a run to score. So they are about to go down, number 1 seed about to go down after we get to the bottom of the ninth. And then following here at 9 o'clock Eastern time, Coastal Carolina, a win away from getting to 1 win away from the championship series. In other words, win tonight, then all they've got to do is win on Friday, and they're in that championship series. Lose tonight, it's still not over, of course. You can fight your way back through the losers bracket, but it's a lot easier if you can win tonight, get a couple more days off, and then play again on Friday. Continue our coverage of the shots in Omaha by welcoming in our good friend, the director of baseball at the beach, someone who's been very close to the Coastal Carolina program over all these years, has seen it grown to the point now where they're in Omaha with a chance to maybe win a championship. Bob Callahan, who is in Omaha with some of his buddies and fellow Chanticleer supporters, and he joins us from the ballpark. How are you, sir?
Phil, doing great, man. We've got a lot of Coastal Carolina excitement out here. A huge crowd came out with the team, and then the city, and for that matter, a number of the other fans that are just here as, general fans of baseball have sort of adopted Coastal Carolina as the underdog. And after I win with Florida, everywhere we walked on the streets, people, oh, congratulations, we're so happy for you, and so forth. So it's been a lot of fun, and of course, as you mentioned in your prelude there, Gary and I go back. The Baseball at the Beach tournament's been going on 17, 18 years now, and he and I have had a relationship all that time. So I was so happy for him to. This has been his quest. He wouldn't come, just like with Coach Tanner years ago. Gary wouldn't come until his team came.
Yeah.
So it's something really exciting to get him out here. But we've got a great crowd of Coastal Carolina fans that came all the way from Conway and Myrtle Beach and so forth. But then again, we've had another group of fans that has adopted us out here, which is going to give us some cheering factor in the stadium tonight. And this team is not going to be they won't be intimidated. They might lose, but they won't go down without a fight. Yeah,
well, it's a small world because TCU is a team that you invited and brought into Baseball at the Beach back in 2007, and here you are. 9 years later, you're going to meet them in Omaha.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Yeah, we've talked to some of those folks out here about that, and we're just looking forward to the matchup tonight. They tell me that we're just talking with some folks from TCU, and they tell me that their pitcher tonight is really tall, like 6'9" or something, but he's thin as a rail. He weighs like 160 pounds or something. So it'll be interesting to see what the thin rail guy looks like when he starts spinning that ball from the pitching mound. I guess he'll have a little bit of an advantage when he starts stretching out that 6'9" body and so forth. But anyway, our guys will get after it.
Yeah, I'm sure. Tell me what you and the fans from Coastal have been doing around Omaha, some of the things that you've done and others have done. Have you taken advantage of the various things out and around the city?
They have a old market district here. I'd say probably more people have gone there than anything else. It's really probably the equivalent of an old warehouse area, but they have redone it, and lots of the buildings have apartments or condos on the tops, and then built businesses in the bottom, restaurants and retailers and so forth. So almost everyone during the spare time has gone to that space. And then if you've ever been out here, if you've talked to other people that have been out here, the vendors around the stadium, you can't believe how many of them there are. So that's another favorite, I guess, walking spot or whatever to go out and see that. And some people have gone out. We did not, but some people have gone out to it's been so hot out here, but some people have gone out to the zoo, which is supposed to be one of the top 2 or 3 in the country.
Yeah.
So a lot of people going there. We would have probably done that, but there's be no reason for you to know this. But my wife broke her hip in March, so she's still on crutches, but able to put a little weight on her leg now. So the zoo didn't seem like a good adventure for her at this point. So the next time we come, we'll go to the zoo.
All right. What do you think of the ballpark?
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, I love Rosenblatt, but this park is, just like anything else. So it's newer. It's, a lot more fan friendly. Like with most old parks, you felt like you were in the basement when you went to the concessions.
Yeah.
And here, it's all on the second level. It's spectacular. Really, really nice. The ball doesn't seem to fly as well, here, but that's okay too. At one point we had, as you well know, we had too many home runs in the game. I think they got it about right now.
Yeah. What's the weather conditions going to be tonight in terms of? I know it's going to be warm, but the wind, is it blowing in? Is it blowing out? What can you tell?
Pretty still right now. But it changes. Also, we noticed that we in the park the other night. It was blowing a little bit when we got there, and then it went still. So, now it's still, but it could pick up. But anyway, we're getting ready to get after it.
There you go. Let me ask you this now.
Yes, sir.
Baseball at the Beach has been a successful tournament throughout all the years, and you always bring in quality teams. But having Coastal play in the College World Series, and do what they've done this year, how does that elevate that event at the beginning of the baseball season?
I think it probably adds a little more prestige, but honestly, I think I've told you started. I had to call around and literally beg teams to come and so forth. And now Gary gets calls, 2 years in advance. Will you please invite us to your tournament and so forth? So it's really changed a lot over time. And of course, with their new park, that makes it all the better. We use their park and the park in Myrtle Beach where the Pelicans play. And so it makes it a lot more attractive to a lot of teams with what we have to offer down there now.
Are the fans, the baseball fans, the general fans, stunned over what they're seeing with Miami's departure and now Florida, 2 outs away from going home?
I think a little bit. I tell you, we've run into, as you would expect, since the 3 teams from there. A lot of Big 12 fans out here, and I think they're got their chest poked out right now about how well their teams, are doing after the SEC, and for that matter, the ACC. It's sort of looks like the